mystery. But really, it's history. The history has become the mystery, and the mystery has become history. We got to wake up today, family. What are we doing? We are enlightening black people, African people, to the divinity of self. You don't have to go through no other man to get to your creator. And we gonna say the creator. We gonna and we you know, and and the closest thing to the creator is mama. You don't want to talk about that. You didn't. Your eyes opened up when you came through the womb of your mama. You understand what I'm saying? And when you open your mouth for the first time, you cried out to your God, "Mama, put that breast in my mouth so I could get some milk. Sustain me, sustain me now." See, we always talking about Jesus is the sustainer. Say Allah is the sustainer. Yahweh is the sustainer. But when you came out the womb of your mama, you cried out. You didn't cry out for Yahweh. You didn't cry out for Allah. You didn't cry out for Zoroaster or this or that. You cried out for Mama. Mama is the creator. She is your God. Because if she don't sustain you and give you the holy milk of creation, then you gonna perish. So we look at all these spooky ghost stories and we put them before what really counts. And so that's the one thing about ancient Egypt. When you look at ancient Egypt, almost 75 to 80% of the spirituality is based around the mother, the holy black woman, the holy black mother of creation. You see what I'm saying? That show you, and that's what's wrong with you niggas. It don't mean that they didn't practice their masculinity, but they knew as long as they, provided for mama and the baby and provided that they dynasty, their lineage will be eternal. That's first and foremost. And that don't require oppression because the love of a great king, godly king, will make a whole people follow that king. You see, without any fear, without any tactics or brutality or any of that. You see, we got to wake up. And so when we talk about the Bible opens up in Africa, both books, Exodus and Genesis, opens up in Africa. That's got to be key. When Genesis opened up, it says that the garden of the Lord, what they call Eden was in Ethiopia. You understand what I'm saying? Ethiopia, the land of the burnt face, that come out of the Greek, and to the Greek, Ethiopia was Nubia. See, we got to do our own research. We cannot follow behind these nothing as Neanderthals. If you do that, then you have doomed yourself to the lie. You have doomed yourself to the lie. I want you to wake up today. And so, yes, when you open up Genesis and we talking about the garden of the Lord, paradise, and say all animals was in the garden. There's only one place on the planet. When you talk about the most magnificent, the most immortal animals on the planet, then it is the African animals, the African animals, catalog of animals that are the most immortal, most famous animals on the planet, whether it be the elephant, and they got an Asian elephant, but and we love the elephant, we love the Asian elephant too. We love creation, so we don't want to talk about the Asian elephant, but he ain't the most beautiful of the elephants. That's just what it is. He got that big dumb forehead and little short ears and shit, and you know what I'm saying? But when you look at that magnificent African elephant and his ears is large, and the tusks are longer, you know what I'm saying? And he's taller and his legs are bigger, and he weighed 2 to 3 more tons. And they done knocked off some of the great ones because they probably at least a couple of tons heavier than what they are today. So when you talk about the elephant, you talk about the lion, the beautiful lion. Now you got the tiger over there, but in Africa you got 3, 4 Well, you got four big cats. You got the lion, you got you got the leopard, you got the cheetah, and which one did I leave out? Where's the big three? The lion, the leopard, and the cheetah. Okay, the lion, the leopard, and the cheetah. You see, and the cheetah is the fastest goddamn. So when you talking about magnificent, you got the tiger over there, and the tiger is one of the most beautiful animals on the planet. I give you, they got one or two animals. Yeah, yeah, they got one or two, but that's all they got. You know what I'm saying? The tiger is the most beautiful animal in all of Asia. You know, and he is a beautiful specimen. You see what I'm saying? But when it comes to Africa, you got the lion, then you got you got the cheetah and the leopard. You see, so and then you got the zebra, you got the giraffe, you got the hippopotamus, you got the rhinoceros, and you got the rhinoceros over in Asia too. But the most beautiful of all the animals is in Africa. So when you talk about the Garden of Eden and you talk about Ethiopia, Africa is the Garden of Eden. When you look in the interior, especially when you along that equator, you got the Great Lakes region of Africa. These are freshwater lakes. You got in the criminally renamed Lake Victoria. There is no Lake Victoria, but for the sake of, if you go to the map, I want you to be able to identify where it's at. So I can't give you anything other than that, but you know that it is a criminally renamed Lake Victoria. There are no Lake Victorias in Africa. And but on the map it'll say Lake Victoria. Then you got Lake Tanganyika, you got Lake Malawi, uh I think you got the Lake Albert, but he's not considered one of the criminally renamed Lake Albert. But you got Victoria, Tanganyika, Malawi. It's another one that I'm leaving out. But those are freshwater lakes, and that is the second largest freshwater lake system on the planet outside of the Great Lakes of Michigan. That's right. So that's the second largest Great Lake freshwater Great Lake system in the world. And right next to it is the Congo rainforest, which is also the second largest uh, rainforest on the planet behind the Amazon. But the one thing about the freshwater, these are the largest tropical freshwater lakes on the planet. The largest tropical freshwater lakes on the planet. So you got these tropical freshwater lakes. You got all these animals. Then when you go into the Congo rainforest, you're talking about something like 10,000, over 10,000 plant species, over 10,000 animal species in the Congo rainforest. So we talking about down from the smallest little animal up to, you got rainforest elephants, you got rainforest, even I believe you got some lions that then went off into the rainforest because of the shrinking of habitat. So that didn't cause, so you can find some of everything in the rainforest. So when you looking at one area from freshwater lakes, Black Power to, so when you look at the freshwater lakes on the East Coast, then you come over to the Congo rain, which is right next to the freshwater lakes. This is the Garden of Eden. No, even you got tropical rainforests in Amazon, in South America. You got them over in Indonesia. Probably got some in the Southeast Asia is that's where the third largest rainforest area. Amazon one, Africa two, and then you got the tropical rainforest of Southeast Asia. But none of them possess the great the freshwater lakes. So that's the one thing that Africa and all of the animals. So when you put all of that together, Africa on the equator is the Garden of Eden. This is the garden of the Lord. So it opens. So when you open up Genesis, it's unbelievable how big they would have been. Everything would have been much larger because that's the first thing they're gonna try to kill off is the largest ones. That's what you want. That's what the white man want to put on his wall. So they killed the biggest of the elephants, biggest of the lions. Then you got to think that Barbary lion, which was in North Africa, the Barbary lion was supposedly the biggest lion in all of Africa. You see what I'm saying? They say the mane on that Barbary lion was so large. You know, it was larger than any other lion. And I mean, I done seen some lions with a damn mane so big, man. Like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? And have all that damn hair, you know, had a mane and shit, it'll be black. And then and even have a strip fur up under they damn up under their neck coming down connected to the mane. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, they done killed off a lot of great, magnificent animals in Africa. But this is your Garden of Eden. So when you open up Genesis, it opens up in Africa, clearly. And then when you open up Exodus, Moses was floating down. When the book opened up, no, Moses is floating down the Nile River. The book opens up and because not only did Genesis open up in Africa, it opened up in the Garden of Eden, but Genesis also ended in Africa because Genesis ended with the death of Jacob, who was the father of the 12 tribes. They was in Egypt and they carried him. I don't know. I think they say he's buried in Hebron. So they buried him in Canaan. I think they buried him in Canaan. It wasn't Israel yet, but it was Canaan. Because today you can go to Hebron, and that's called, they got that tomb of the patriarchs. And so I think now it's a game, but if you just want to know, so you can know that in Hebron they got the tomb of the patriarchs. Supposedly Jacob, Isaac, I think it's Jacob, Isaac. I know it's another one. I keep missing. I don't know who came. I know it's Jacob and Isaac, and I believe that they matter of fact. I hate when I know something and I'm gonna get that because I should know that. What patriarchs are buried Hebron? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. There you go. That's what I missed. Abraham. Thank you, family. You hit it right there. Abraham. That's the one. And then they wives. Sarah, Rachel, and the other one. It's another one supposedly in there too. You right. Abraham. That's it. Hebron. Okay. So good. That's right. So, but that's where Genesis ends in Egypt. It opens up in Eden, which is Ethiopia. It ends in Egypt, carrying Jacob to Canaan, and then Exodus opens up again in Egypt. We got to understand that's it. All the book opens up in Africa. Ain't no damn Israel, ain't no Mecca, ain't none of that. I want y'all to be clear about that, family. And what am I saying? Because when you read Moses was learned in all the ways of the Egyptians, they done stole our legacy. They done rewrote our legacy where we have to bow down to them as some prophets or the chosen people and all of this and that. In reality, we the chose that we understood that we are the walking, living representation of the Creator. We are divine. We don't need no goddamn religion. We don't have to follow in behind no usurpers to get to our God. You feel what I'm saying? So listen to me when I tell you. That's why we have to wake our people up. Because now and niggas is coming up with some more garbage today. They coming up with it. You're going to keep coming up with garbage. But at some point in time, you're going to have to fall back in chronology. You're going to have to fall back in chronological order and sequence of the cosmos. Or you're going to stay failing and you're going to stay losing. But anyway, family, we just getting started today. Stay with the general now. Click that Patreon link down there. I got fire there. I don't know why y'all ain't went over there and got that fire. Is you can start at the bottom and there's a treasure chest waiting on you. It's been filled up over years. Exquisite 2-3 hour lectures on some exquisite information, historical. What you waiting on? Get on over there today. General Seti, Etsy, One Stop, KingSeti.com. You know what it is. Boom. I'm watching you. You see what I'm saying? Keeping my eye on our people. Black Power.